Biden admin tried to conceal Chinese spy balloon to not disrupt Blinken trip. More, more evidence to show. I mean, it seems like every week I'm showing more evidence that Biden is bought and paid for by the Chinese government. Because why would he conceal it? Why would he not want to cancel the Blinken trip after they sent out basically a spy balloon from the last time I just read the last news that I heard about it is that it was in North Carolina heading towards the Atlantic, and they thinking about shooting it down once it get into the Atlantic. But my question is, why why wait until it get to the Atlantic? It already got all the data or whatever. That if it is a surveillance balloon, it already has all the data it needs because it already flew across the United States. So it's a little too late now. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my merch store where I have I Will Not Comply t-shirts. So check out my t-shirts as well. All right, let's talk about this news. The Biden administration knew about the Chinese spy balloon sailing over the U.S. earlier than when it became widely known, but kept quiet so as to not disrupt Secretary of State Anthony Blinken's trip to China, according to a Friday report. So, what's more important, Blinken meeting with the Chinese or the Chinese flying over America and possibly stealing information, whatever it is that balloon is doing? I mean, it shows what his priorities are. His priorities are with China. But Bloomberg News reported that the U.S. officials were, quote, well aware that the balloon had crossed into American airspace on January 28th, way back in January, and that it was over Idaho on Tuesday, but decided to not inform the public to not upend Blinken's diplomatic trip to China. I mean, again, it shows where Biden's priorities is. It shows who he's really allied with. And White House officials who spoke with Bloomberg told the outlet that they knew the balloon was over Montana on Wednesday, and the Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin and Chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff Mark Milley told President Joe Biden that shooting down the balloon could pose a threat to civilians. The report added that the White House wanted to be careful because relations with China could be a big issue in the 2024 elections, and that it was baffled by China's claim to not know what was going on with the balloon. So the elections are more important. The 2024 elections are more important than keeping Americans safe from the Chinese. Here you go. That's Democrats in a nutshell. And Bloomberg noted that Biden administration only decided to inform the public after the Billings Gazette published a picture of the balloon, which forced Biden's hand. In the end, Biden's efforts to conceal information about the balloon to save Blinken's China trip failed. On Friday, Blinken said his team concluded, quote, conditions were not conducive for him to continue with the planned visit to China this weekend. The secretary also said he conveyed it was an, quote, irresponsible act and that the PRC's decision to take this action on the eve of my planned visit is detrimental to the substantive discussions we were prepared to have. In addition, Blinken said he told his counterpart that the United States, quote, remains committed to diplomatic engagement with China and that he plans to visit Beijing in the future when conditions allow. Again, this is utter ridiculous. These people send spy balloons in our country and you still caping for them and saying you want to meet with these people. The balloons were spotted over North Carolina on Saturday morning as it appears to head towards the Atlantic Ocean. The balloon is believed to have sailed over parts of Tennessee last night before heading over Asheville and Charlotte, North Carolina this morning. Again, now they're talking about shooting it down once it gets over the water in the Atlantic, into the Atlantic. It's too late now. If it was an EMP device, or if it had bombs, or if it had spy equipment. It could have done whatever it wanted to do already, and it head off into Atlantic. So let's say it is a surveillance balloon. It had conducted. It had got all the surveillance information by now. So who cares if it's over the Atlantic? But again, this is the Biden administration in a nutshell. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out themarkrepublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time. Peace.